Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this NBA channel. So let's get straight into it. Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs have been in headlines basically week after week. Rumors came out earlier this year saying that Kawhi was unhappy with the Spurs and that their relationship was weakening day by day because of his unresolved quad injury. Kawhi doesn't feel healthy, but yet the team doctors and trainers have confirmed that he's ready to go. Spurs have been getting the reputation of being the perfect model organization that every single team in the NBA should look up to. And to all of us, it seems like San Antonio never gets into any drama or have any problems within their organization. But my guy, I'm just being real. Not every day is rainbow and sunshine for everyone. That's including the San Antonio Spurs. No player, coach, front office, or anyone is perfect. So yeah, San Antonio does have their problems here and there, I'm sure. But they're really good at hiding it from the press and the media, and keeping everything on the low. Now though, since they're approached with an issue like this, that's been made public, low-key it looks like their organization is burning into flames. Because this is the first time in a very long time that the Spurs could end up missing the playoffs if they drop a couple games here and there, and that's putting more pressure on Kawhi from his teammates and everybody else to go ahead and make a return. So since January 13th, Kawhi hasn't played a game on the court, and like I said earlier, team doctors have cleared him to play, but Kawhi just doesn't feel right, and he don't want to go back on the court until he feels 120%. See guys, a lot of people don't realize this about Kawhi Leonard, but he's always been like this. He never wants to go out in the regular season and play unless he's 110% ready to go. Throughout his NBA career, Kawhi has never played more than 75 games in a season ever. That's a pretty weird thing to see from a superstar player who is currently in his prime at the age of 26. But Kawhi's always been that guy to put his body first and to not risk his future in any type of way, shape, or form. Originally, Kawhi was set to return sometime this month. When that news came out, everybody in that Spurs organization was actually happy because the Spurs were in a bad slump in the month of February and early March. They had a record of 2-7 in February, and before this recent streak that they went on, they were 1-4 in March. So they needed Kawhi back more than ever. So as days go by, Kawhi and the San Antonio Spurs get even more attention. I don't know if you guys noticed, but did you guys know that more than likely the San Antonio Spurs won't win at least 50 games this season? And this will be the first time in nearly 20 years that the Spurs don't reach 50 wins. That streak coming to an end really soon. So recently, Kawhi's teammates got involved in this situation. Let's start off discussing that player-only meeting that they had. So this news came out about a week ago or two, and the players in that meeting were basically trying to persuade Kawhi to come back and play the season. And apparently this whole thing was led by Tony Parker. And I'm not surprised with this news because Tony Parker has been talking crazy to the media these last few weeks. For instance, in an interview that he had, he was comparing his quad injury to Kawhi's, which is out of bounds. And Manu Ginobili made a statement on this whole situation as well. Now, a lot of people are split on this whole thing, and they feel either one of these two things. Some people think that Kawhi's just fine and he's just trying to be really cautious and be careful with his body and just needs to get over this injury mentally so he can help the San Antonio Spurs make a championship run. So you're either like that or you're like me. I think Coach Pop and his teammates are reaching in this situation. You don't tell another man, or in this case a superstar player, to come back after an injury that kept him out for multiple months. So as we all know, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are towards the end of their careers, and Manu Ginobili may even be playing his last season in the NBA this year. Ain't he like 40 years old? So yeah, I understand why he wants Kawhi to come back. No NBA legend wants to end their career while being a first round, maybe second round exit in the playoffs. Ginobili wants to win it all more than ever this year, and he wants to go out with a bang. Be honest, me, you, and everybody around the world probably know that that's not happening without Kawhi Leonard on their roster. But yeah, February goes past by, and now we're in the month of March, and March is basically already over. Kawhi said he was supposed to be back earlier this month. Guy, we're basically in April right now. So yeah, I understand why Spurs fans, teammates, and coaches are all disappointed in Kawhi, because Kawhi told them one thing and he's doing the other. He's been misleading as hell. So Ginobili finally faced the truth, and he said that he doesn't think Kawhi is coming back this season. Alright, so we're done talking about Ginobili. I don't think he did too much wrong in this situation at all. Let's focus on that man, Tony Parker. Tony's been talking out the side of his neck to the media about this whole situation, and recently he made a statement saying that his quad injury was 100 times worse than Kawhi's. He's sending them shots at Kawhi and basically calling him weak. As a teammate, this is not a cool thing to do at all. With what Kawhi does on a nightly basis for the San Antonio Spurs team, he should be free to take a lot of time off with this injury. With what Tony said is completely out of bounds, and it's a no-go for me. So looking into the situation, the San Antonio Spurs most definitely do have some issues going on, and both sides, Kawhi and everybody else who wants him to come back, are wrong. If Kawhi don't feel good, he don't feel good. Nobody on this planet can tell you how you feel but you. And for Ginobili, Tony Parker, and whoever else to come at his neck like this is just wrong. But here's where Kawhi Leonard messed up though. He's the one who kept a possible return in the air. He left everyone anxious, waiting. They've been drooling for Kawhi to come back. And to be honest, I feel like Kawhi slick wants to come back and play. But he probably doesn't want to because he's not himself yet. And he might underperform and let everybody down. Plus, he might mess his money up if he doesn't perform A1. Though Kawhi's supposed to be getting that max contract real soon. So Kawhi needs to and should have been told to everyone that he's not playing this year, instead of leaving the possibility of a return in the air. Now let's talk about this Kawhi wanting to move on from the Spurs rumor. Look man, straight up, this is fake news. I can't see Kawhi being traded. I'm sorry, I just can't see it, coach. What, asking for a trade over this? I don't think the situation is that deep. Now the only way I can see Kawhi leaving the Spurs is if the Spurs don't offer that man that supermax contract that he truly deserves. You guys probably haven't noticed this, but Kawhi has been more demanding recently. He was obviously phenomenal on the court last year and he was doing his thing. So as you should know, Kawhi is partnered up with the Jordan company. And the contract that he's originally on, he really isn't getting paid fairly at all. So he's trying to uppity that price. He's pretty much threatening to leave the Jordan brand if they don't give him what he wants. Kawhi's trying to show his worth. And that pretty much should tell us all that Kawhi wants nothing less than a max contract this summer. If the Spurs don't want to give him that for some odd reason, then yeah, Kawhi might end up getting traded, I guess. But I still don't think that's very possible. The Spurs gonna give him that money. But so, I said this in a previous video, I don't remember what video I was talking about, but I told you guys before that the Spurs don't be making trades that often. The last trade that they made was back in 2016, and that was just to get rid of Boris Diaw. This Kawhi possibly getting traded thing is totally unrealistic. But let's just say if the Spurs don't give Kawhi his money, then he would have to get traded obviously. And I have 4 teams on my mind that could give the Spurs a good offer. The Timberwolves, the Celtics, the Los Angeles Clippers, and Los Angeles Lakers. Those are the teams that I think could offer a good package for Kawhi. The T-Wolves could offer Wiggins and some draft picks. The Celtics can give up Tatum, a draft pick, and also a contract to make the whole thing work. The Clippers can throw him Tobias Harris in a pick, and the Lakers could form a package of Ingram or Kuzma, and along with that, a draft pick as well. So those are just random trade ideas off the top of my dome. I still think Kawhi's going nowhere. That idea is dead in my mind. And himself pretty much put that topic to rest, because in an interview that he had, he stated that he wanted to retire with the San Antonio Spurs. So with that being said, looking at this whole thing, Kawhi's teammates, they need to hop off. For Popovich, I'm sorry, I like you, you need to go coach, but you need to hop off too. And Kawhi himself needs to come out and tell everyone that he isn't playing, because he ain't doing nothing but making things worse for himself in this situation. He's keeping everyone's hopes up, and he's leading everyone on. But yeah, I believe all this will be resolved during the offseason, and then everything will continue to go back to normal. Once Kawhi is 110% and feeling like himself, then he's gonna start to play next season. But yeah man, before I end this video, I gotta show y'all this little video clip of a former NBA player, Steven Jackson, giving his opinion on this situation. By the way, he's a former Spurs player, so he kinda knows what he's talking about, but then again, he's kinda salty. Go ahead and take a look.
I believe this, but the meeting that was Sosei threw up on Kawhi after the game,
yeah,
that came down from Pop to those guys. They didn't do that on their own. Tony don't have the balls to do that. Ginobili don't have the balls to do that, okay? They just not outspoken guys, and I don't think nobody feared them to respect their word, right? Yeah. So that came from up top, no question. Pop is the greatest coach ever. I love Pop, but Pop loves these 3 guys.
Yeah.
And he's loyal to these 3 guys before anybody.
And they're loyal to him.
They're definitely loyal to him. But for Tony to come out and make their statement about his hamstring or quad was worse than is worse than 100 times worse than Kawhi's, is so low, like it's and the timing of it is even worse. You know, you talk about this meeting, y'all want him on the team, is he gonna be with us or not? And now all of a sudden, this last week, you and Ginobili both come out and talk about it at the same time. Like I played on this organization. They came at me sideways before when Pop asked me to say other people was better than me. So I know, and I know how selfish Tony is, because he's the reason why we lost in 14.
So why is he still talking about 2014? My God, it's 2018 now. Why are you mad? You guys lost. It is what it is now. It's clear that he still feels some type of way about Tony Parker, and he's still salty on how things ended in San Antonio for him. But this is the end of the video, man. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll go right with you. Kawhi? you're supposed to be in New York getting a second opinion or whatever. You clearly walking around finding everything. Maybe there is something we don't know about.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made the surf, free the way, Told my girl who'd ever thought.